Afternoon, my TPC. I hope you're all well. What have you all been up to? Anything exciting? Not really been exciting here. Not been exciting here at all. But it's a nice day, the sun's shining. That's what we want, don't we? Because by gum, we've had some rain yesterday. It was absolutely pouring out of them fields. But rain. Our water bill should go down with all this rain, shouldn't it? Doesn't know, does he? What? Housekeeping. I'm smoking some of Bob's bag end. And I messaged Bob the other night there, and yesterday, and I said, "Bah, it's a good smoker, this Bob." And I'm quite tickled with it. Yeah. And my pipe is my very first pipe. It's a Dr Plumb City Mat with a metal filter. And you can still get these today for less than £25. And I tell you what, they smoke well. I've dropped it there, like, but I thought I'll just give it a run out and see if she's as good as she was when I got her. But it's a good pipe, some nice bit of grain in there. It's just a bog standard pipe, but for less than £25, anybody who's starting smoking, you know, pipe, it's a good pipe to start with. And it's comfortable, it's a good clencher too. Well, I have rubber bits on mine, as you know, but even without, it's a good clenching pipe. I'm nearly through this bowl. Again, I should have topped it up before I come on. But, no, I just wanted to talk today. We're on about my dogs last time, wasn't I? About my Labradors. And I was laid in bed last night and I was just thinking back, as we all do, don't we? And it was a dog called Tip. Now, I think you all know I was brought up on a farm. And this old sheepdog, we didn't even know she was pregnant. She was just an old dog who was chained up. You know, she was no good for now, but she was just a bit of a good guard dog anyway. She'd had these pups, and there they were back at kennel. And I says to my father, I says, "Can I have one?" And he says, "Well, no." I said, "I'll get rid of it. You don't need another." He said, "You don't need a dog." He said, "You've already got Tasha," because I had a little Jack Russell Terrier at the time. And he said, "I was out with another dog." But anyway, I got him talked round and I chose this dog. And border collies, and it was, what a bonny dog that thing was. And I called him Tip. He had a little bit of a tip on the end of his tail. But markings, whatever was down this side, was identical this side. It was just one of the best looking dogs I've ever seen. And I trained that dog, on any day, any spare time I had. Homework had to come first. Always homework first before I went out with that dog. And every bit of spare time I had with that dog, he was just learning so quick. He was just doing stuff before I was asking him to do it. And, my father says, "By God," he says, "you've got a hell of a dog there, keep at it, like." And it was going on. It was just one of those dogs. It's like once in a lifetime. And anyhow, it was, I'd been backfield on the farm, and it was next to a main road, like a bay road, and going through there. And we always got a lot of visitors up there, and there'd be people stood on the side of the road watching me training this dog, and cars would pull up watching us, and I was feeling, by God, I've got an audience here. It's grand. I was about 13 or 14, but my concentration was on that dog, and I wanted that dog to be the best. And an old farmer, he's dead now, bless him, George, he came down and he come with a handful of cash. And he says, "I want to buy that dog off you." He was a sheep farmer as well. And I said, "I'm not selling him. I'm not selling him, George. I am not selling that dog." I said, "I'm keeping him." And I says, anyway, I says, there's Ray Shaw coming up, and I says, I want to enter him into best looking and obedient sheepdog, because he wasn't quite there for running around shape, but sit down, lie down, stay there, do these, bits and odds and sods, he was very good at. And those feathers down the back of his legs and all, he had white feathers, like feathers coming down the back. And George says, where they was going to walk away with Cup with that dog, he says, what a dog he is. He says, but if you ever want to sell him, I'll buy him off you. Anyway, month or so passed, a couple of months, coming up towards race show, and he was just spot on. He was maybe about six months old, somewhere around there, and he was just spot on. He was doing stuff before I asked him to do stuff. It sounds odd, but that dog knew before I asked him to do it. And anyway, George lands down again with some more cash. And he says, I've upped my offer. He says, I'll give you £800 for him, because he used to stop and watch us with this dog all the time. And I says, I'm not selling him, George. I says, I'm putting him through, through show. I says, and he said, well, I'll tell you now. He says, that dog's going to absolutely stay him through it. He says, you haven't got a problem there. And I was confident with this dog. He was absolutely spot on. And anyhow, it was one day I went to, I think I was going for a haircut or something when I had hair with my mother and my father. I went down to local town and did the shopping and all the rest of stuff, and put the milk out on the flag ends, because we used to retail raw and pasteurised milk, proper milk. None of this, it was straight from the cow and grain top. But anyway, I'll put these crates on end for people to come and pick the milk up, and off we went. Anyway, as we're coming back, we're coming down the lane, and we could see local gamekeeper Bob. He was obviously getting his milk, but he was waving his arms about as we pulled in. He was looking frantic. And he said, there's something wrong in that back building. And I could hear this dog screaming. I knew it was Tip. He was absolutely howling and crying out in so much pain. And I just dropped everything, because it was all locked. Got to get in the house, get keys, get padlocks, open the back building up, get through into the next building to get to him. And he was screaming. He was, oh, my, it'll stick. It's getting us a bit now. Give us a minute. It'll stick with me for the rest of my life, that noise that dog was making. Anyway, my mother, she phoned the vet as well, chucking everything out of the car to go and get everything into the car to get him down to the vets. And I think you know what's coming. And we got halfway there, and it went quite in back at the car, and he died, like. And we got to the vets, and my dad says, do a post-mortem on him. Anyway, they did. And when we got back home, we went to the building where he was at, and we'd noticed that the window had been broken. The glass had been smashed. So obviously something had been thrown in. And the vet contacted us back, and they opened him up, and they found raw meat which had been laced with strychnine poison. And some sick person decided to kill me dog. Probably through jealousy, through the show. I don't know. I have my suspicions. And they're both still alive, so if you're watching this and it is one of you, I hope you feel bloody proud of yourselves. But my dad, he found out, but he wouldn't tell us. And even when my dad was laid in nursing home, he wasn't coming home. He had a massive stroke, all the rest of the stuff. And we'd have still have a laugh with him, like. And I says, who poisoned that dog, Dad? Tip of mine. He just looked at me. He just shook his head and he said, they'll never know, lad. It's sorted. But yeah, Tip, what a dog he was. Then shortly afterwards, well, I don't know, a few months afterwards, we had a phone call from George. Bloke had offered us the money for tip. And he said to me, "Father, fetch him up." He said, "I've got some pups," and he said, "You know, picket litter." So I chose this dog, and it wasn't the same. Grand little dog, grand little puppy, border collie again, and I called him Punch, because that's part of the name what the farm was called. And I couldn't do a thing with him. As much as I tried, and everything I put in, the same as I did do with Tip, it just wasn't happening. And I just couldn't make out of that dog. And I kept him as a pet more than out else. And at the end, a friend of ours took him and had him as a pet, and they looked after him. But yeah, that was a story about my Tip. It's there's some very, very sick people out there, and to do that to a 13-year-old lad, and to do it to a dog. What had that dog done wrong? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'd rather got hold of me and given me a good hiding or something like that than taking it out on him. And unfortunately, I haven't got any pictures of him. Otherwise, I'd have shown you. We've got lots of pictures up there of him. Anyhow, I just thought I'd share that with you. Sorry if I got a bit emotional, but he's folks did some nasty things when I was a kid. I was bullied, as you do. But I don't know. Some funny people in the world, isn't there? Anyhow, I'll let you get on. I've rattled on a bit now, so I'll finish this pipe off with this bag end and sort these two out. Murphy sat down there, I think. Are you there, Murphy? You coming to say hello? Murphy? Come here, come up here. Come say hello. Oh, there he is. Look, who's this here? Look, there's Murphy. Murphy's a good dog. Right, guys, I'll see you later. Take care now.